This is the Unspoken Podcast on the Undetermined Podcast Network.
You're listening to the Unspoken Podcast, part of the Undetermined Podcast Network. It is episode numero 10. 10. We've made it to 10. Double digits.
Thank you for the Spanglish. Christ, we made it to 10 episodes.
Insert the WWE Superstar Ty Dillinger 10 chant here. I'm Tom Albano along with Nick Federa. We've made it to 10 episodes, and it's all good in the hood here.
Yeah, it is. It is. Well, this is a little bit of a lean week for us, but we still got stuff to talk about.
Yeah, stuff. We have, what's it called? I guess the thing is we have stuffing, but that's all it really is. It's stuffing. It's nothing too big. Except maybe
stuff.
There's still, yeah.
Technically is a thing, therefore stuff is in the word stuffing.
Correct.
Exactly.
And guess what? We finally have the opportunity to lead off with the MLB as we had planned to the last 2 weeks until... First, we were going to lead off with the NL East, and we talked about it. But when we talked about it, our top story had to be
Reeves getting arrested.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then the last week it was the NBA trade deadline, which was crap.
It's a nothing burger, basically.
Exactly. So now that we finally have the opportunity to lead off with it, let us lead off with our little preview for the MLB 2017 Part 2.
Yes, indeed. Oh, so now you're French?
I'm just going to go all over the place with the languages today, I guess.
He's got an atlas in front of him. He's got reading off a globe, or he's got an atlas in front of him.
Anyways, NL West.
So the name of the game, the name of the game here is, how many games are the Dodgers going to win the division by?
You're like me last week when it came to the Cubs. You're going to be like that.
Yeah, and it just seems like, God. I hate to say it. I really, really do. But I can't see any other team in the division actually standing a chance against the Dodgers. I mean, look at the Diamondbacks are pretty much, they have talent.
Well, can I ask you something, Nick, before we get into all the teams?
Yes.
Is the NL West like that division that's like, it's there?
Yeah, it's window dressing, basically. It's
Exactly. It's like, what exactly is the NL West other than the Giants and the Dodgers? That's really it.
It's a swath of beige fabric. That's what it is. Just neutral.
Pretty much.
Neutral. I don't understand. See, they talk about competitive balance. The entire Manfred always uses that as kind of his talking points when
right.
He's talking about revenue sharing, and usually in regards to the Yankees. But can we get some competitive balance in the NL West, please?
I mean, can we get some competitive... Well, you're going to mention that. We can try to get competitive balance maybe in the NL Central. I mean, we were just talking last week about how the Cubs are going to win like 100 games.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I mean, it seems like...
The most competitive division right now in baseball is the AL East.
Yeah, I mean, that goes without saying. But in terms of the NL West, I mean, I can't think of, there's talent there, but the execution is spotty at best. Pretty much.
You mentioned the Diamondbacks. Honestly, I can't think of much the Diamondbacks did this offseason.
They really didn't do much after trading for Shelby Miller and having him. I think he pitched to a over 6 ERA before they yanked him out of the rotation. Something like that. And they ended up trading. Didn't they trade Dansby Swanson in that deal? Yes, they did. They traded him to the Braves.
I'm telling you right now, here's a bold prediction for me. They are going to regret that. I was following I think it was in 2015 he got drafted. I was following that draft heavily because of something I did back in that day. And Dansby Swanson was on one of my, players who you should be watching for when it comes to the draft. And, of course, he ended up getting picked number 1. I didn't expect that he'd be picked first overall. But then he was struggling a little bit in the minor leagues, but, he has come through, clearly. And didn't he hit, a home run during, when he got called up to, the 40-man roster? Didn't he hit a home run in one of his first at-bats?
I think he might have, actually. It was back in September, right?
It was something. It was, late August, early September.
Yeah, I think. I don't know whether the Diamondbacks thought enough of him to trade him in a deal for what they thought was going to be an ace, or that they didn't think he was going to be able to put it together. It's kind of hard to tell with the Diamondbacks front office.
Right. And it's also hard to tell when it comes to rookies. The MLB draft is that one of those things where it's it doesn't matter what round you get drafted in, because you can you can be a hit any round that you go in.
Yeah, and in this case, the talent that the Diamondbacks have, Paul Goldschmidt he's a hell of a player.
Absolutely. Paul Goldschmidt is probably one of the best. Oh, and for the information, by the way, August 17th, Dansby Swanson's MLB debut, he went 2 for 4, including his first career hit off of Minnesota Twins pitcher Kyle Gibson. Swanson hit an inside-the-park home run against the Washington Nationals on September 6th, his team's first such home run since 2001 when they were the Montreal Expos.
Oh, boy.
And actually, I think he had 2 inside-the-park home runs during his brief time this past season. I'm going to say this right now. The Diamondbacks are going to regret that.
Oh, of course they are.
They are going to regret ever trading Dansby Swanson. I don't know what the hell they were thinking when trading Swanson for somebody like Shelby Miller. That's stupid.
It almost seems to me almost like a weird practical joke. It's like, hey, you think they'll let me get away with this?
Right. And now it's going to be on that general manager's record. Yeah, you fucked up there.
Well, exactly. You could say that about pretty much every other team in that division other than the Dodgers. The Padres are
actually. Wait a minute. You know what's funny? Dave Stewart isn't their general manager anymore. He got yanked.
Oh, funny. Well, he was the one that pulled off that trade.
Following the 2016 season, general manager Dave Stewart and manager Chip Hale were fired.
So he did regret that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if that was the entire reason they fired him, but
probably not the entire reason, but you have to admit that probably played a role.
Yeah, it probably did.
It was like your make or break thing. You have one trade to prove us why you still belong, and he broke.
And he went and flushed that down the toilet. He probably walked into the office after the season was over. They wrote, "You traded Dansby Swanson" on a lined piece of paper with a Sharpie and stapled it to his face.
Oh God, that's gonna hurt.
Still, but like I said, it seems like this division is a proving ground for stupid moves.
Probably. Likewise with the Diamondbacks, the Padres, I don't think did anything this offseason.
They really didn't. After going for it with that big offseason 2 years ago, I think it was, when they got Matt Kemp and they got
right.
They got Justin Upton, and everybody thought, well, this is the time when the Padres, this is their big coming out party. And
right, last year they were able to get Mark McGwire as a bench coach. They got Carlos Villanueva, Derek Norris, Andrew Kashner, Tyson Ross, Alexi Ramirez, and that was to battle all the free agents that they had at the end of the 2015 season, yeah, with Sean Kelly and Kennedy, Bud Norris, Justin Upton. So it's like they had so much potential, and then suddenly now it's like back to square one with the Padres.
And it went over as well as farting in the Pope's face. It did. It's almost majestic in its implosion. It is. It's like watching something slowly but surely collapse. It is.
Right.
But what is this obsession? Because I've been meaning to ask this because I knew we were doing the NL West.
Right.
And I've had this question in the back of my mind for a couple of weeks now. And I figure you'd be the person to answer it.
Okay, shoot.
I need you to tell me why every other team is fawning over Ian Kennedy. Please.
I have no idea.
Look, he was a Yankee.
I think he's a respectable pitcher. I don't know if he's an ace. I will never go as far as to call him an ace.
It seems. I mean, not to dump all over the guy because he seems like a really nice guy and a good teammate. But the ace status for a guy who was.
Well, remember, it's the Padres.
Yeah, that is definitely the qualifier there.
On the Padres, someone like Ian Kennedy is an ace.
Yeah.
This isn't 1998 anymore.
It's not, and the difference is that '98 team was stacked upon stacked upon stacked,
and if it wasn't for facing a 114 regular season game winning New York Yankees, they probably could have won the World Series that year.
They probably would have against any other team. They probably would have won it.
Right.
But it just seemed like the franchise has just been going backwards ever since Tony. Well, even before Tony Gwynn tragically passed away. It boggles the mind. It does.
It's funny, like we mentioned the Diamondbacks before, now the Padres, how so many teams can go ass backwards.
Yeah, but they somehow found a way to go ass sideways.
Colorado Rockies, I'm not sure how much they're going to fall off, but they did have a little bit of a noticeable offseason, signing Ian Desmond, signing Mike Dunn, Alexi Amarista, Greg Holland, and Eddie Butler. I mean, Eddie Butler actually was traded by the Rockies, to the Chicago Cubs for James Ferris, a minor leaguer.
Now,
so you actually have to say that they actually pulled stuff off. Unlike the Diamondbacks and Padres.
They did. It seems like they did definitely make noticeable moves to make improvement. If not noticeable, if not, substantial improvement, at least incremental.
Right. They're going to go bit by bit by bit. I mean, I don't think, let's face it, it's going to be 10 years since they pulled off what we should all call a miracle run.
Jesus, that was 10 years ago? I feel old.
Yeah, that was like I would say, as a 12 going to be 13-year-old watching that, I'm like, holy crap. Like I don't think anybody 10 years ago had the Rockies on the radar.
Nobody did. I guarantee you, even people in the Rockies front office didn't think that was actually going to happen.
Right, and then they ended up becoming the 2007 National League champions. That's... For the people of Colorado, that's something amazing.
That's something to hang your hat on. I mean, it seems like they've got players at least that are that if you'll excuse the disgustingly simple term, know how to play. I mean, players worth watching. Who was that? The prospect last season who kept hit like 20 home runs in the first couple of months of the season.
Well, I was gonna mention. Honestly, I think it's their infield. I mean, look at their infield. You have, we mentioned Amarista from the January this off season. You have Nolan Arenado, Ian Desmond, DJ LeMahieu, and Trevor Story.
Trevor Story, that's who it was.
Trevor Story, okay. And in outfield, you have Carlos Gonzalez, Gerardo Parra, who I think is an underrated talent, and Charlie Blackmon. I honestly think, if you want my opinion, the Rockies are going to finish in third, way ahead of the Diamondbacks and the Padres. They might even give the Giants a run for their money now that I think about it.
They could indeed. I never thought about that. I never actually did think about that.
It's also bad luck for the Giants because this is an odd year.
Oh, can we please stop with that odd year? Oh, God. You know what? If anything, the Cubs run has shown us that curses don't have as nearly as enough power. Curses or hexes or charms or whatever you want to call it.
Fair enough.
Don't have the kind of power that they used to in baseball.
Fair enough, but when the Giants are playing the Mets in the wild card game, and then there was that late home run for them to win the game, I'm like, oh no, it's going to happen again.
Yeah, well, when you got the Mets in the playoffs, you're pretty much on a countdown clock to when that happens. So it's going to happen. It's just a matter of where and when.
But it's like when that happened, it's like, oh God, the movie started playing in my head. They were going to do that to the Cubs, and they were going to do that to whoever it was they were going to face, either the Dodgers or the Nationals. It's like, oh no.
Yeah.
Sorry, Julian, if you're listening. Actually, sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, I'll have to say I'm sorry because I got no horse in this race.
Actually, now that we're talking about the Giants, let's look at the Giants. Here's some of the events from this offseason. They exercised the option on Matt Moore. They avoided arbitration with Corey Giron and Adrianza. They tendered contracts on George Contos, Connor Gillespie, Eduardo Nunez, and Will Smith. They signed Mark Melancone. They traded Chris Heston to the Mariners. They avoided arbitration with Gillespie then. Then they avoided arbitration with Will Smith, Contos, and Nunez. And then they signed Nick Hundley to a one-year deal.
So basically the theme of the offseason was general upkeep.
Right, same as it ever was. And I mean, you made the playoffs as a wild card team, so nothing too bad. But now we were just discussing with the Rockies' potential. It's like, oh, maybe the Giants could be given a run for their money.
And you still have the same you still have the same usual suspects in the Giants, and they can still play. I mean,
correct.
Jack, Brandon Crawford, Buster Posey.
Correct. I just think it's funny because this could be a battle for second place. I think the Dodgers, like you, are going to really win the NL West, but it's like there could be a fight for second place, and which could potentially lead to, a jockeying for position in the wild card.
Interesting baseball in that division. I mean, that's something that we haven't had in a long time.
Pretty much. And let's round it out with the Dodgers. Let's see. I mean, there was quite the moves that the Dodgers had this offseason. Let's see. Take a look at their 40-man roster moves. They were able to keep Kenley Jansen, which is actually a really good thing. I was thinking, if they lose Jansen, that's not good. Jansen was honestly, in my opinion, one of the best relievers, if not the best reliever in the NL last season.
Yeah, he was. And while the rumor mill was going that they were actually, before Chapman actually signed with the Yankees, the rumor mill was that the Dodgers were going to go hard on him if they didn't re-sign Jansen.
Well, thank goodness for the Dodgers that they did re-sign Jansen. I believe they got Logan Forsythe,
which underrated player.
They picked up Sergio Romo.
Yeah, God. That why I always, he's like baseball's Jude Law. He's everywhere, and I have no idea why. Even at an important moment in a postseason, he's just there. He just shows up out of nowhere, materializes.
Let's see. They were able to re-sign Chase Utley.
The bane of Mets fans' existence.
And I hear the Phillies fans crying now. They still miss him.
Ah!
But we have to keep in mind, the Dodgers did have a couple of losses this offseason as well. They lost Josh Reddick to the Astros. They lost Howie Kendrick to the Phillies.
Which, yeah.
Well, they were able to get Rich Hill again. Brett Anderson now with the Cubs. Vidal Nuno. It's like Vidal Nuno. They got him in a trade in November from the Mariners. And then 3 months later, they trade him to Baltimore. Well, we hope you enjoyed your stay, Vidal.
Yeah, I hope you didn't find any apartments in L.A., because I hope you like Baltimore.
We'll get to him and the Orioles in a couple of weeks.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. But, another question.
Okay.
The money that they signed Rich Hill for. Now, keep in mind that Rich Hill is 37 years old. Keep in mind that Rich Hill has never really been... He's never been electric stuff. This, however, is a byproduct of a weak-ass starting pitching free agent market, and that man has reaped the benefits. All the way to the bank.
I mean, for when you go from the independent Long Island Ducks in July 2015 to signing a 3-year, $48 million contract with the Dodgers on December 5th, 2016, I mean, I don't know what to say about that.
Good on him. Good on him. Congratulations. That's what you say.
Congratulations. So, yeah, we have our NL West. So, Nick, tell me your NL West predictions. I think, well, who do you think is going to finish last, the Diamondbacks or Padres? I think I'm going to have to say the Padres.
I will also say the Padres because they haven't really done,
at least the Diamondbacks have a young team.
Yeah, the Diamondbacks have a young, interesting team, and they could do, but I got to go with the Padres. I do.
And then I will go with the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
Wow. For third, I don't know. Who do you have for third? Do you have the Giants or do you have the Rockies?
I'm going to go with the Giants for third. I am.
You're going to take the chance. You're going to say the Giants for third.
I may eat my words, but I'm going to go with the Giants for third place.
You know what? Can I say I think they're going to have the same record.
Really?
I have a bad feeling they're going to have the same record.
With the same kind of general upkeep that they did this offseason? They kind of papered over.
True. Oh, my God. You know what? Fuck it. We're in this together. I'm going to go with the Giants third as well.
Yeah, you can change it. You can change your answer if you want. I mean...
Right. Well, we still have a couple of weeks to go before the regular season. We can change our answers then.
Yeah.
But I might actually have to say the Giants third. Because normally I want to go prove me wrong, but the Rockies just had this interesting dynamic of a team that it's like,
It seems they've got talent together, and it just seems like it's high time they pulled it off.
Right. I mean, you know what? Just for that, I'm going to say Giants third, Rockies second by 1 game. I think the Rockies are going to just edge out the Giants. And I think because of how close it's going to be and the edging out, that's going to cost the Rockies and Giants the wild cards to, as we said previous weeks, to the Braves and to the Mets.
Call me crazy, but I'm gonna take the Diamondbacks and the Rockies in second place with 85 wins.
Really? Wait, you're gonna pick the Diamondbacks up there too?
No. I said no. I was gonna say, probably the Giants will probably be in third place by half game.
Yeah, I could see that. Here's what I could see. I could see the Diamondbacks having like a little under 500, so like a 79 or 78, 79 game winning season. And then underneath them, the Padres. I don't think they'll be as bad as the NL Central's basement, but they'll be the basement.
Yeah, so you're probably looking at
So you're probably looking at like, I don't know, 73 wins.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, for the Diamondbacks, you could give them the ceiling of like 81.
Going 500, basically. Yeah. So then I can see the Giants going like 86, and then the Rockies going 87.
That is a razor thin margin.
Yeah, but then I'm gonna have the Dodgers go like with 92 or 93 wins.
I'll go with 92, 93. Just because I think they'll be able to at least last in.
They'll win it the second to last week or like the start of the final week of the regular season.
Yeah, it'll probably be a close race all season.
It's not gonna be like the Cubs, who I think again in early September. Well, last year it was like late August, early September when they clinched. I think it's gonna be like early September mid because I had them at 99. But basically, it'll still be quite early when the Cubs clinch.
Well, here's hoping. Like I said, these picks come with capacity for us to be proven completely wrong.
True. You're listening to the Unspoken Podcast, part of the Undetermined Podcast Network. Let's stay with baseball for a minute because let's talk about the World Baseball Classic.
Yes, indeed. The WBC is starting up again.
It's baseball's Olympic Games.
In that it's just as useless as the Olympic Games, or
well, at least we don't have any, any
horrible corruption.
Horrible corruption, conspiracy theories.
Yeah, but we do have gruesome injuries. I mean, and that's, well, maybe I'm just being cynical.
I think
I am.
I love the World Baseball Classic personally.
Call me the ignorant American if you must, but I really could not care less. I really could not.
I mean, I guess I can understand, but it's just, it's like, I mean, I guess it has to do more with my pissed offness at the Olympics. You cut sports like baseball and softball, but you put in, hell, they almost cut wrestling, a game that has gone back since the ancient Olympics. And you put stuff in like
the Olympics in ancient times.
Exactly, and then you put stuff in like power walking. Like what the fuck? What happened to the Olympics?
What is fucking power walking?
I have no. It's like jogging, I guess.
So they basically replaced baseball with the locomotive version of jazzercise?
Something like that. I don't know.
Oh, God.
Trump talks about making America great again. How about we just make the Olympics great again?
Yeah.
Please.
I'll settle for that. You don't have to make America great again. Just make the Olympics watchable again. I'll take that.
It's like I can watch some of the Olympics, but then there's some stuff that I can't watch.
Yeah, but there are upsides to watching the World Baseball Classic. I mean,
absolutely. I mean, just the concept in itself. It's like you bringing this because let's face it, I still think I will believe in my heart always baseball should be the American pastime. But what's funny is it's grown more than that.
Well, I don't think it should be the American pastime at all because baseball really it has a global reach. It should be. I mean, the most interesting players in baseball are sometimes not American. In fact, most of the times they're not American.
Actually, I think like it was either last year or 2 years ago that we had on the opening day rosters the most international players ever.
And I believe that's a good thing.
Absolutely. I can see a lot of positives on that front. I mean, and it just emphasizes stuff more like the USA versus world game for the minor leaguers. It emphasizes all that stuff more.
And it gives us I wouldn't want to put on my political hat here, especially since I'm not a political science major, but at least I think that it contributes to at least having an understanding between the United States and Cuba.
Yeah, there's definitely that. There was definitely the improvements in Cuban relations. I mean, Baltimore and Cuba, but the Baltimore Orioles, I think, went down to Cuba in like 1999.
And like I said, yeah, and like I said, I don't want to presume that I know what I'm talking about, but at least to my eyes, that's the way it seems.
Right, something like that. And I mean, baseball. I mean, I guess it even puts baseball, to put some pop culture into this. This puts baseball in a bigger limelight.
It does. It introduces it to a much bigger audience. And even to us, we're able to see players, the world's greatest players who don't play in the MLB that might in a couple of years. That hot Japanese player, that Shohei Ohtani, I think his name is.
I believe. But yeah, basically, I mean, I guess that's one of the beauties I found of the World Baseball Classic. Now, let's just talk about the World Baseball Classic for a second. There's been 3 so far. The United States has finished in the top 4 in only 1 in 2009.
So is this the year that the U.S.
finally breaks through? I mean, we had Japan win the first 2, and then in 2013, the Dominican Republic. I mean, it's the only bad side I see to the World Baseball Classic is how close it is to spring training.
Yeah, and you kind of well,
it overlaps rather.
I still haven't forgiven the World Baseball Classic for what happened to Mark Teixeira. For those of you who don't know, he was going to play when he was still with the Yankees. He was going to play in the World Baseball Classic, but warming up for it, he hurt his wrist, and that was pretty much the beginning of the end for him.
This was 2013, correct?
Yeah, I believe so.
It was the most recent one because that was the year the Yankees had quite a lot of injuries, like Teixeira. Jeter was down for that year. He was like a ghost that year.
And so was A-Rod.
And A-Rod didn't. Yeah, he started injured, and then mid-season he got the suspension controversy.
But maybe that's just me being bitter.
Right, but I mean, there's still some great things to the World Baseball Classic. It just, there's something cool being able to, like, in the first rounds and stuff when they're like playing games in Japan. It's so cool to wake up at 8, 9 in the morning and see baseball on your TV.
Yeah. Or you could DVR it. That's true.
But yeah, basically we have our 16 teams. In Pool A, we have South Korea, Chinese Taipei, the Netherlands, and Israel. Pool B, we have Japan, the 2-time champs, Australia, China, and Cuba. Pool C, we have the United States, Canada, Colombia, and the defending champion Dominican Republic. And in Pool D, we have Mexico, Italy, Puerto Rico, and Venezuela.
So, of the New York Yankees that are on WBC rosters, I believe the only one that is on the American team is Tyler Clippard.
I believe you're correct. I'm trying to bring up the World Baseball Classic rosters now. Well, Gary Sanchez decided to skip it.
Because
Tanaka skipped it.
Well, Tanaka skipped it. Chapman, I think, is playing for Cuba.
Well, there's 10 Yankees on the World Baseball Classic. Okay, here's the rosters for the teams. USA, Tyler Clippard. Netherlands, Didi. Mexico, Gio Gallegos. This might be minor leaguers, too. You never know.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're going to include minor leagues on here. Italy, Tommy Lane. Israel, Richard. What's that?
Richard Blyer.
Richard Blyer's on Israel. Tito Polo, Donovan Solano on Colombia, Kellen Deglon on Canada, and Betances and Severino for the Dominican Republic.
So their progress, the Yankees, pitching progress is definitely going to be stunted while these guys go compete, and you're also running the risk that they might get hurt.
Right, but this is once every 4 years. It's not like this chance comes up every. It's not like it's an every year thing.
Yeah, I mean you can't begrudge them for taking it because.
I mean, here's what I was going to say. I think because it's not just some of the Yankees who are skipping out on it. I mean, Mike Trout and Bryce Harper are skipping out on it. And it's sad because you could have had – let me pull up the USA World Baseball Classic roster right now. Because I think personally if you had the likes of Harper and Trout on here, you would probably have one of the best rosters ever assembled. Not just in the World Baseball Classic, it'll be in baseball in general. The outfield, right now you have Adam Jones, Andrew McCutchen, Giancarlo Stanton, and Christian Yelich. Imagine if you had Bryce Harper and Mike Trout in there. Holy crap, that outfield.
Oh, my goodness gracious. You pretty much would just have to take the trophy.
Exactly. So it's sad that they're not competing. I mean, I guess I understand, the concerns and stuff, but it's like, you probably could have freaking won it. I mean, there's still a good chance and such. I mean, you have on the pitching staff, you have the likes of Sonny Gray, Tyler Clippard, Andrew Miller, David Robertson, Drew Smiley, Marcus Stroman. In the infield, you have Hosmer, Goldschmidt. You have Arenado, Crawford, Daniel Murphy, Kinsler. Catching, you have Posey, Lucroy, and Ellis. Like, I mean, it sounds great already, but it's like, maybe if you had Trout and Harper, or at least one of them,
you would have been fucking invincible.
Exactly. If Trout or Harper were there, I would make the guaranteed USA this would be their year.
Yeah, I would. And, absent that, in terms of who might win it, I think, honestly, it's going to come between the U.S. and the Dominican Republic.
Well, they're in the same pool, so I assume they would have to meet before the final.
So who is it that you think will win?
Let me take a look at the Japan roster. I mean, there's a lot of Nippon players. The only major leaguer on this roster is Nori Aoki of the Houston Astros. Let me look at the defending champions roster, the Dominican Republic. Let's see. Well, they're being managed by Tony Pena.
So that's a plus in their direction.
Right. You have Dylan Betances, Bartolo Colon, Johnny Cueto, Familia, Nova, Willie Peralta, Luis Severino, Beltre, Cano, Machado, Reyes, Santana, Batista, Cruz, Marte, Polanco. It's going to be a dogfight between the U.S. and the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, it pretty much is.
Basically, whoever wins the final game between the U.S. and Dominican Republic is going to win the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, I'd have to go with you on that one.
All right. So, I mean, I can't wait. If it begins Monday, I can't wait. I'll make sure to tune into as many games as I can.
I will as well. At least to see it. At least
right. At least, hopefully, you can come to where I am and see the beauty of it.
He's open. I don't like change, so we'll see what happens.
You're listening to the Unspoken Podcast, part of the Undetermined Podcast Network. Let's briefly talk about the NFL, some off-season moves that have happened, because there's been quite a few in the past week.
Yes, indeed, there have been. And the Revis era in the New York Jets, yes, Revis Island is now deserted as the Jets have cut him.
You didn't think this was coming?
Yeah, I think you could have seen this from a mile, maybe 2 miles away.
You probably could have seen it. You probably could have seen it from 10 miles away with a telescope.
You, or at least you would need binoculars.
Or binoculars, that's true.
But, oh my God, what a precipitous fall. How ignominious.
Had a mighty fall.
It is. And you know what? He was such an exciting player to watch for years and years. And it's just sad. It's sad to see this. It really is. Coming as a Giants fan, it was good. Fun to watch him play.
You never want to see a player fall the way like Rivas did.
You know, you don't. But do you think that a team will give him another chance?
That's risk. Because I think we talked about when this first happened, he is not a young player anymore. He is not a young, thriving player anymore. He is a depreciating, older player.
Well, young in football is kind of a weird term because, 31 in baseball is young, 31 in football is ancient.
Right. But still, his skills have deteriorated over the last few seasons. He hasn't been Rivas Island, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, so maybe they'll give him a chance. Maybe they won't. But if not, but if they don't and he decides to retire, he's still got a hell of a career to hang his hat on.
Right.
He got to win a Super Bowl with the Patriots. He got to be Rivas Island with the New York Jets. That's something you can always be proud of.
And speaking of the Jets, man, are they cleaning house. Both New York teams are essentially clean house.
And the last one out gets the lights. Oh, boy.
What is going on in New York?
I did like Nick Mangold's meme game, though. I did like that. Because take it from somebody who has been to Splash Mountain, been on that ride more than once. The fact that he was able to sustain a frown and crossed arms in a 200-foot fucking waterfall drop is nothing short of a masterful performance by a monk. he has to be at least part monk to have that level of concentration. You don't understand how precipitous that drop is. I did it.
I've been on Splash Mountain before.
But you don't. But what happened with me? I mean, I was so scared my balls retracted up into my pelvis. That's what happened, and the fact that he was able to do that is nothing short of a miracle.
Wasn't that the picture with the caption, "That face when you're a free agent" or something like that?
I do like his meme game. Very good.
And then you got Marshall basically saying, "Release me. I've had enough here."
Good for him. Good for him. Good for him. Good for him.
I guess the Jets have finally gotten to him. He's reached his breaking point. He said, "I'm throwing in the towel.
I am done with this shit." Oh, boy.
And now, I mean, the Jets joined the Giants in New York teams that have clean house.
Yes, they have.
They have, we talked about the Giants releasing Rashad Jennings, releasing Victor Cruz, releasing Donnell. I believe they released Donnell.
They might have. I'm not sure.
So they were trying, I guess you can say they're trying to keep some of their young talents. They're going to rely on the likes of Beckham, the likes of Shepard, the likes of Paul Perkins.
Plus, they're trying to keep JPP and Jonathan Hankins. So
right. I mean, if they lose JPP now, that's it.
Yeah, we're gonna have heart attacks live on this podcast, folks. We're gonna have coronaries. We're just gonna open up the show and then go. Ah!
And then, well, the Giants, they couldn't go after another certain running back. There have been reports. Nothing is official. But there is a man with the initial similar to a certain journalism style book.
Yes, Mr. Father of the Year himself.
Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson was not around this past season. His season was over after like 2 weeks due to injury, which was another nasty blow to the Minnesota Vikings after Teddy Bridgewater went down with a gruesome injury in preseason.
And it broke my father's heart.
It broke my father's heart, too.
It broke Adrian Peterson. It broke my father's heart to see Adrian Peterson get cut. I mean, I was like, Dad, I don't know what to tell you. These things happen, I guess.
Right. I mean, I was just a little surprised because, it's Peterson who had spent 10 years there. So I thought, I'd give him the benefit of the doubt of, he's a veteran. He's been around. He's a popular player. It's like, we had to deal with it was not Peterson's fault exactly of a shitty season.
Yeah.
Injuries are shit. It happens. And then the Vikings winning got Sam Bradford.
But the question that I need to ask, really it's a moral question.
Okay.
Would you take a chance and sign him if you were Jerry Reese? I would not.
I don't think so. However, if a JPP disaster happens and he does not get re-signed, you need a veteran with star power, then I would take the chance.
I wouldn't do it anyway. I would not do it. Because any kind of production you can get from him is pretty much it's almost inconsequential based on the baggage he'll bring, especially in a big market like this. And think about let's not forget what that guy did, which is absolutely fucking repugnant. It is. I mean, let's not paper over that.
Right.
But I wouldn't be able to look past it. But I guess that's why I'm not an NFL GM. I care too much.
Right. If you need to not care too much. I mean, let's face it. It's Goodell who's in charge.
Yeah, and God knows there's just a swirling black void where his soul should be.
I mean, the child discipline is one thing, but I think we've mentioned before, Goodell has had a number of cases of domestic abuse happen under his watch, and he doesn't do a damn thing.
It's child abuse, Tom. Let's not split hairs here.
I know.
It's abuse, and it's domestic abuse.
No, but I mean, if it's not... But, Nick, if he's not going to do anything about domestic abuse, you think he's going to do anything about child abuse? No.
Oh, absolutely not. Under no circumstances.
Especially with the number of domestic abuse cases that have happened, as I just said, under his watch over the last couple of years.
I think there are times I've had this mental image. It's really made me laugh. Whenever a big crisis happens, Roger Goodell probably gets whisked away to a room, an empty room with white walls everywhere, and in the middle of the room, there's a chair. And on that chair, he sits on that chair, and he picks up a paddle ball. And he just works away at the paddle ball for hours upon end, staring into space. And no one's allowed to disturb him. It's almost like he's dropped off the face of the earth. That's pretty much how you'd be able to ignore this kind of shit if you were the commission. But you know what? I don't want to talk about it anymore. Oh my God, this is because
I told you about what happened when I tried that thing you recommended, the Goodell punishment generator.
And what did you do? What did you come up with?
Okay, I was like, something about drugs was like 2 games. Something about yelling at like media or random person on the street or something was like a little more. But then I said, I helped an old lady across the street and I got suspended indefinitely.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that works. Oh, God, Ron.
And then let's talk about one more NFL thing. Garoppolo, we have conflicting reports. Some are saying the Patriots are going to refuse to trade him. Absolutely, 110%. The other half are saying, there could be a way that he gets traded. What do you think?
Demand a king's ransom, and they might just get it.
You're right. It's New England Patriots. They just might get it. I think for the right price, he can get traded. And it's it's going to be? It's going to be one team getting so desperate that they give up a bunch of either like a bunch of rookies or draft picks or.
Jets.
Are you sure? I'm still
around.
I'm still betting on the Jets getting Romo.
Oh God. They attack things with the same desperation that I do when I'm hungry. I'll eat anything. Just give me a quarterback. What is it, Jimmy Garoppolo? I'll take it. Romo? Give me!
You're listening to the Unspoken Podcast, or the Undetermined Podcast Network. Let's talk about the NHL trade deadline briefly. Here's the best way I can describe it. It was quiet, but at the same time, it was a hell of a lot better than the NBA trade deadline.
It was quiet yet loud, almost like a Nirvana song. But
and I love Nirvana, so
hey, I'm just saying. I do too. I'm just saying, but the Caps, oh my goodness, they're going for it by trading for Kevin Shattenkirk, and that man is a hell of a defenseman. Oh boy!
I mean, look at their team. They got, as much as I hate the Caps, can't deny the team. You have Ovechkin, you have TJ Oshie.
Pretty much everybody.
Yeah, pretty much. You have one of the best teams there is, basically. In the AHL today, Braden Holtby as their goalie.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
this is gonna be the playoffs are gonna be misery.
The playoffs are gonna be insane.
Well, they're gonna be misery. Misery as a Rangers fan having to watch the Capitals mow through everybody.
Let's hope not. Now the Rangers made a couple of moves themselves.
Yes, they traded for Brendan Smith from the Detroit Red Wings for a bunch of draft picks. And has he suited up yet?
Let me see. Smith. I don't know. I haven't been able to catch a Ranger game, so let's see. He did play against Boston, but he had no goals, no assists. He ended up spending 2 minutes in the box. And spent 20 minutes on the ice.
Oh boy.
So not too much there from Mr. Smith.
I'll give him time. I will give him time.
I was gonna say he just got here.
Yeah. Just give him a couple games to settle in. I think he'll be okay.
Hopefully. And let's take a look at a lot of the other moves around the NHL. It stinks because we finished this podcast. I mean, we do this podcast after the NHL trade deadline is finished. So it's not like I got to go all the way back to remember everything.
Last week.
Let's see. Capitals with Shattenkirk. Rangers landing Brendan Smith. And the Blue Jackets secured Kyle Quincy in a deal with the Devils. The Penguins adding a lot of defensive depth, trading for Ron Hainsey, then getting Mark Straight and minor leaguer Frank Corrado.
So was a bunch of small moves interspersed with some big moves. In fact, one big.
Correct. Couple of small moves, but you know what? Small moves help you really win in hockey.
Yeah, it does, even more so than in other sports, I think.
Yeah, hockey is a real thing where it's like bit by bit by bit, you create a great team.
Yeah, you're right.
There were 18 deals made. 33 players were sent to new destinations on deadline day. So it was quiet, but there were also some moves that didn't happen. Marc-Andre Fleury staying with Pittsburgh.
Really more about what didn't happen than what did.
Right. There was kind of a mix. But you know what? It's still better than the NBA trade deadline. I still can't get over the fact that trade deadline was such a piece of shit.
Oh boy! And don't you have a take for us? Don't you have an NBA take for us, Tom?
No, not an NBA take, but it is a basketball take.
What
and
is
with
it?
that, you are listening to the Unspoken Podcast, part of the Undetermined Podcast Network. Nick, let's talk March Madness.
I love talking about March Madness.
Let's talk about mid-majors.
Go for it.
It just amazes me how people can undermine mid-major basketball. It really amazes me. And we go to a school that plays in a mid-major.
What division is Hofstra in?
The Colonial Athletic Association, the CAA.
Oh.
One of the bigger mid-majors out there. And it's amazing because last night I was watching some Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference basketball, a low mid-major. The game I especially watched was Manhattan and Ryder, the first round MAC tournament game. And that ended with Ryder hitting a three-pointer, like one of those throw them up just any way you can, a three-pointer with like 4 seconds left, and then a Manhattan buzzer beater that when the refs looked at the clock, it was revealed that he didn't get the ball off in time.
Oh, so the clock, yeah.
The clock had run out.
The clock had run out.
The clock had run out, so Manhattan could not win the game. But then they looked at the three-pointer again because there was a chance the Ryder player's foot may have been on the line.
Was it?
It was ruled inconclusive.
Oh, God. The biggest cop-out.
So Ryder ended up winning. But I mean, there's a point to this, though. The mid-majors produce some of the most exciting basketball I think I've ever seen in college. And it's just a shame that all the attention has to go to the Power Five.
Well, that's where the money goes, right?
Right. But you know what? Remember something, it's March Madness. The mid-majors help to produce some of the greatest moments in a tournament each year, with all the upsets that occur.
And so you think that the media should cover it more, or give more attention to it?
I feel like some people just write off mid-majors. Like write them off completely. You cannot do that when it comes to
it's almost like an amateur league, that kind of thing.
Right. You cannot do that when it comes to the NCAA tournament.
No, you're right. I don't think you should. I mean, if it's March Madness, that means if you're going to celebrate collegiate basketball, which is basically what March Madness is, then you should at least give all the divisions, or at least as many divisions as you possibly can, a chance to shine.
I mean, if there's one thing I did like this season, well, maybe I just noticed it this season, but like on Friday nights, no big teams play. They save everybody for Saturday. And Friday night, they dedicate exclusively to mid-major basketball, which is something I really love.
Yeah. Well, that's a good point.
But like, I'm sorry, 2013, Florida Gulf Coast, slam dunk city, bitch. They upset Georgetown, and then San Diego is like, oh my god, this team is amazing.
So suddenly, and then you don't hear about it,
right? But still, Florida Gulf Coast, you know,
still
the memories are still there.
It's good watching. Is that? Yeah, that's what you're saying.
The memories will still always be with that team, and they'll always be in NCAA history because it's like, holy shit, they got to the Sweet 16. Hell, last year Syracuse, who was number 10, even though they are more of a big college basketball team, they were a number 10, and they managed to upset number 1 Virginia in the Elite Eight.
Wow! Oh yeah, I remember that. Happened.
I mean, last year, I'm trying to find the ones from 2016. The 2016 upsets that happened. We had Hawaii beating California. We had Wichita State beating Arizona. We had Let's see. We had VCU over Oregon State. We had Northern Iowa beating Texas. We had Yale beat Baylor.
Which is a miracle in and of itself.
We had Stephen F. Austin beating West Virginia.
Holy shit.
We had Little Rock upset Purdue. We had Gonzaga. In addition to Syracuse, actually, hang on a minute, because the Midwest region, I forgot, was insane last year. Basically, at the end of last year, there were no perfect brackets before the first round ended.
And they're giving him short shrift. The bracket, basically.
Right. Well, the Middle Tennessee upset Michigan State, and then Syracuse upset Dayton. We had a 10 versus 15 second round matchup. Not to mention Gonzaga upsetting Seton Hall and Utah to get to the opposite end of that Sweet 16 matchup. So we had a 10 versus 11 and a Sweet 16. And of course the 10 won, but then upset the number 1 in that regional. And the number 10 seed, there was a number 10 seed in the Final Four. I mean, that's a different thing from a mid-major, but still, I guess it goes hand in hand. You cannot expect anything when it comes to the NCAA tournament. I think people have to realize that.
That's what makes March Madness worth watching.
Right. And you know what? Fuck it. I wrote a piece about, tips when it comes to filling out your bracket. Let me give you guys some advice. Of course, there's still another week to go, but you know what? We have to start thinking early. The conference championships are going on right now, so here's some advice. Number 1, don't put all the number 1 seeds in the Final Four. It's never happened. Actually, no, it has happened, but 60-1 chances. 60-1. I think the last time it happened was 2008.
Wow.
Look for your upsets in the early rounds. Here's my pieces of advice. 5 versus 12, 6 versus 11, 7 versus 10. Those are your most common.
You've done research on this, haven't you?
I've done a lot of research when it comes to March Madness for my internship this week. So.
Oh, so.
The last few years in a row, the last 4 actually, we've had a number 14 upset a number 3 in the first round.
Wow.
And that was one of them was last year was the Stephen F. Austin. But we have never had a number 16 upset a number 1.
Well, as soon as you say it, that means it's going to happen.
Now I have a feeling it's going to happen this year.
You just jinxed it.
Only 3 teams ranked number 14 or 15 have ever advanced to the Sweet 16 since the tournament expanded to 64 plus in 1985. Only 1 team ranked number 4 or 5 has ever won the NCAA tournament, the 1996-1997 Arizona Wildcats. Also, and just last in general, come on, guys, mind over your heart. As much as you want your team, if your school is in the NCAA tournament, I know you want them to go all the way, but if you're playing for money, you got to be realistic.
Yeah. What do you mean? Wait, what do you mean playing for money?
Like if you're in one of those contests or whatever, like ESPN runs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, but hey, if your bracket gets busted because your school pulls off the upset, more power to you. You get a consolation prize.
Yeah, good point.
And, honestly, don't overstress this too much. I'm just trying to say, March Madness is a beautiful thing.
It is. Despite the myriad of problems that I have with collegiate athletics in general, right. and coming from someone who recognizes the problem and yet attends a school where you have collegiate teams that contribute to this. I mean, it's still good watching. I mean, does that make me a terrible person?
Honestly, everyone should be tuning into a March Madness game. Everyone should tune into March Madness as this tournament goes on, because you never know what to expect. It's all the love of, all the love of college basketball. And, hopefully we get some interesting mid-majors in there.
Well, that's the best of sports in general. That's the credo. Expected.
Right. I mean, we mentioned Metro Atlantic before, where my undergrad was. I hated Monmouth for years. I still hate Monmouth. I still hate their little bench from last year.
You're still not gonna let that one go, are you?
No.
Oh boy, you'll go to your grave hating Monmouth, won't you?
But you know what? They have been ranked to potentially be an 11 or a 12 seed if they make it to the NCAA tournament. And what did I say? Pulls off the most upsets.
Lately 11 or 12 seed. Boy.
So, you know what? Expect the unexpected. And that's the only thing you can say about the NCAA tournament. What's to be expected? The unexpected.
Yeah. Forget everything you filled out on that piece of paper because it's going in the garbage probably within the first couple of games.
Like, hopefully we don't have a second year in a row where before the first round even ends, everybody's brackets busted.
Well, let's see what happens. You never know. That's the beauty of it.
You never know.
In general. That's why we do this podcast.
Absolutely. And that's going to do it for another edition of The Unspoken Podcast. Like us on Facebook, The Unspoken Podcast. Follow us on Twitter, @Unspoken Podcast. And, it's just been great to have 10 episodes so far.
Here's hoping we can do 100 more.
Absolutely. For Nick Videra, I am Tom Albano. We will see you next week for episode 11.
Good night, everybody.